Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, October 28th, and this is a work session followed by a special meeting of City Council. The following items are on file for consideration of City Council. Item number 1 is Trinidad Golf Association operation and discussion. Mr. Valentine, who's going to take it?
Actually, the Golf Association is here, and I guess Lana?
Yep.
Okay. If you would come forward.
Thank you,
It'd
guys.
probably be good to introduce yourself and your board members.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm Lana Kaufman. I'm a member of the Trinidad Golf Association. I'm here with past board member Rich Alford and current member Linda Lambden and Diane Nash that are here. Also on our membership that just got voted in, Diane and Linda just got voted in at our last meeting on October 26th. And then Brenda Feldhager, and then our currently sitting president Rick Torres, which he is not able to make the meeting, neither is Brenda, so they sent me instead. Sent us instead. I did put together a little I don't know what you want to call it. Basically, kind of a little report that kind of tells you the usage and challenges and just some information about the course.
Thank you.
And obviously, I mean, it's a little bit windy, but I wasn't sure what the city council would like to see. We do know that the city has got a great asset out there, the golf course, and the board association, or the Trinidad Golf Association, has been running it for the last few years. I'm fairly new to the board as well, so I'm still learning the ropes. So I put together what I thought you might want to see. If you want to see more, please let me know, and we will get that information. But the Golf Association, as you know, the golf course has had its challenges. We had some green rot last year, but this year it's been taken care of. We've definitely got the course is looking great. Our membership has decreased a little bit over the last couple of years, but we were, the past board increased their fees of membership, so I do know that we lost some members due to that. However, it's been a challenge to make any money out there with the current situation and setup. So I don't know how much of this report you want me to go over. If you have questions of the report.
I would hit bullet points and just...
Okay, yeah, bullet points. Yeah, some of our challenges to keep the golf course up and running is older equipment, communication between the staff, between the board members and the staff members, the layout of the design. You guys, I know, are aware of the study that the management company came in and did. The layout it behooves us to be able to do the pro shop well as the bar, which is, as you know, the bar makes a lot of money, but that's a great thing and a bad thing all at the same time. We want to run a golf course, but there's some old electrical issues in the old cart shed that we know we need to have reviewed. Trying to keep up with groundskeeper wages for industry standards is tough. We've had Guido Pacelli as our maintenance keeper for a long time. He has told us that he is going to resign, and so we are in the process of trying to hire a new groundskeeper, which Sean, who has been there for a while, is interested, so we're trying to work a deal with him, and so that's still remains to be seen if he's going to accept that. There's some things that we have accomplished. We have done some hotel play and stay discounts, trying to increase non-members. We've enticed young golfers by having some clinics for them. We've hosted a two-day ladies event, which to date I believe is the most money maker so far the last 2 years. We currently do offer a little bit of food, which is pizza and hot dogs, and I know that's one big thing that the city has asked us to try to do, is try to incorporate more food. As the new board, we are aware of that challenge, and we do want to increase that and try to at least get something during the week, like bar appetizers, that type of thing, so that there is something that in there other than just a hot dog and or pizza, as well as trying to do some maybe some specials on the weekends. But again, in the town, I mean, there's several restaurants already, so it's really hard to get anybody to want to come out there. And if we did, we'd have to get the liquor license. We don't know how we would work that liquor license situation with them. So, but we're things that we intend to improve on this year is operating procedures. We do know that the accounting and the reporting mechanisms need to be very much honed to increase clarity so we can understand what the reports are telling us and where we're doing well and where we're not doing well. A membership drive has been mentioned, improve the current driving range, promoting our venue to host more activities, get a complete list of needed equipment to maintain the course. I know that that's been a challenge that I don't even know if the city really has a clean or clear idea of what equipment we have or what we don't have or how old everything is. I mean, our golf carts are 2015, so they're already almost 10 years old. And so we know that that's going to have to be, we're going to have to start replacing some of those. T-box modifications are supposed to be coming this fall, or this next spring, with some of the money that Azar has helped raise for us. And so we're looking to make some improvements there. I'd like to see us get more involved with the tourism board, because I think the tourism board could also help promote our golf course, because that's one of the things that I think is our challenge. Is we so much appreciate the city this year has come in and cleaned up a lot of the dead trees. There's more work to be done there, but I know it's hard during the season, as well as making changes to the clubhouse, the new windows, and the repairs and stuff that needed to be done. But one of the things that I found was, and we've talked to the liaison, Aaron Ogletree, that there's no signage anywhere in town other than the one sign that you can only see if you're going headed north. So we definitely need more signage. We definitely need more social media presence. The Visit Trinidad, I scrolled that website this morning. I could not find one thing about the golf course. And granted, I could have missed it, but I'd seen a lot of other things that were out there for the city, which is a wonderful site. I really think that's a great added bonus for the city. Even a Facebook page, which I wouldn't mind doing as the association, but just to try help promote and sponsor the golf course. I know not everybody's a golfer, and I know that it's maybe a slim margin of our residents. Obviously, we only have 139 members currently, but it's a beautiful course. I mean, if you've ever been out there, you've seen the views from there. It's gorgeous. If you've ever sat on the patio having an adult beverage, it's really nice. There's some work that could be done on there as well. We've got that back patio area that could be totally utilized a lot more for small parties, little cornhole tournaments, any little event, even like Easter egg hunt or something like that. We've got lots of areas that could be really nice. So, and we'd appreciate the chance or the consideration to renew our lease. We do have a fairly new board now, which maybe new eyes on the situation. Not saying that the past boards have done anything wrong, but sometimes you need a little refresher, some new eyes on the situation. So that's about all I have. So, do you guys have any questions?
Maybe it's a question for Mr. Alpert. Have all of these improvements aligned with the one-year strategic plan that was implemented last December?
I believe so, with the exception of possibly the food. Other than we did add pizza and hot dogs, but I think food was the only thing that we did not complete on the lease agreement.
So
Wasn't it, Mike?
that was a big one, yes.
Yeah, that was the big one. And
yes, we made an outreach to kids. We made an outreach to women. We made an outreach to tourists. We improved the sign situation. We worked with the city on tree removal, so we did a lot. One thing that we didn't do a lot of is the food. You can't have one person fry burgers and rent carts at the same time.
the pro shop.
And so that we haven't done. But otherwise, we did almost everything we asked.
Okay,
That's it.
that's it.
Frank?
I have anything other than,
No.
I hope, see that you're trying to make some improvements, which is really, really good.
Yes.
And I think continue doing some of this stuff will really help, and some of that we weren't aware of, so
Yeah.
kind of nice with, like you say, better communications between us and you guys.
Yeah, I think that I think is really key. Obviously, I mean, it's your facility, and we're just there to run it. And it's a beautiful facility. I mean, you guys know, just like any of the parks that we have in town, it's a gorgeous area. I mean, there's so many things that could be done there. But you know, we've got to do a better job as the association to make sure that we manage it properly and try to do a better job at that. But you know, we're willing and ready to tackle it. So.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today. It seems like a lot of positive energy is happening. With the decrease in membership down to 134, is there, I mean, I know you can't answer this with certainty, but is there an indication that that number may rebound, increase, and is there efforts being made to try and increase that? And if so, what are those?
Yeah, I definitely think that it could increase. I do think that our golf population is of the older age currently in town, and so I know that there needs to be a lot more effort. We have, in the past 2 years, we've held the kids clinic, trying to entice the younger players to get out there. We do want to try to get, one of the ideas I had is to get with the college and to get with the students of all the schools and try to incorporate, you know, any golf leagues, you know, try to get them out there, because, you know, we need that younger generation to come up and start playing some. And we do have a student membership that is cheaper, as well as a college membership that is cheaper than our regular adult membership. So, you know, having that enticement, because we know they can't afford a whole lot to go play golf. So we also have punch cards that they can get, so they can get, you know, 5 rounds, get the 6th one free. So trying to entice them to come and play as well. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And do you have any questions?
Just some curiosities, I think, because I didn't get a copy of the previously, so know what you guys had to do or what the plan was. So I'm just kind of curious, on the financial situation, are you in a position now to where you are able to staff? Or because a lot of these come down to staffing issues, or are we still dealing with the same situation that we were dealing with last year at this time?
Same situation, yeah. I mean, honestly, with Guido leaving, that is going to free up a little bit of money. We're still going to have to obviously hire someone to replace Sean if Sean takes that position. So we're still going to probably be in the same spot as we were for financials, but as far as, you know, payroll costs. But and right now it is a challenge, because what Sean has requested is more than what we think we can pay. So we're going to have to just work that out. I don't know what else. I mean, it is a challenge. And
Okay. All right, thank you.
So when the city did that report from Serious Golf, I always want to say Serious Radio, but Serious Golf.
seriousness, yeah.
Did the board actually look at that report?
Yeah.
And did you glean any information as to what you could do at the golf course to make it better?
Yes, I know. I read it when I first came on. That was the first thing I requested. And I know Rich definitely has seen it, and I'm pretty sure, I know Rick has as well. And even the new members that are on have reviewed it. And yes, there's definitely some good ideas in there to help us. But I think a lot of it is more on the lines of, you know, possibly remodeling or just the layout of the clubhouse and certain things that we can do that are going to have to be made in order to make some of those changes to where the staffing is not an issue, you know, especially now with the bar/pro shop, because the way it's set up now, you currently can't really see anybody and take care of the golf course at the same time, or the bar and the golf course at the same time, without having to hire somebody else. And we already know that we're strapped with wages, but it's kind of one of them catch-22s. It's like, do you spend the money so you can hopefully make some more money, you know, and try that out and see if we can make money if we hire on 2 people. One of the ideas I had that we've talked about at the board level is maybe possibly hiring a college student during summer months so that they can just run the pro shop part of it and have someone just still in the bar area. You know, just give them a few hours a week, you know, to come stage cards out and stuff. So
because I am not a golfer, so I really can't tell you, with knowledge what needs to be done up there. But I know people that golf, and I've asked them, and they all think that you're losing a lot of revenue because that pro shop isn't open. And I suggest maybe you all open it, not during the winter. I mean, that's probably not right, but,
Yeah.
and then in addition, the nicest room in the whole clubhouse you're using for the pro shop where people could go in there and the view from that one room
Right.
is beautiful.
And that's unreal. Yeah, I agree.
So, I really would suggest that you do that. We've required reports, financial reports from the Golf Association, and I don't believe we've ever gotten them, have we?
We do get a monthly report. Sometimes they're late. They were required to bring forth kind of a report or June 30th, 2024, doing just what she's doing here. So
Okay.
they're a little
Yeah,
late with that.
I wasn't aware of it, of
Yeah.
that
Understood.
request,
So,
since I'm new
yeah.
to the board, but it will be met going forward.
And the
Okay.
financials, we do get them. And Lana did say in here a more detailed report would be nice, because it's just like, generic this and that. It doesn't detail the sales out, or I think it could be better.
Yeah, it could be a lot better, and that's one of the major tasks. And also, taking inventory and trying to have more things in the pro shop, because currently we have very little to offer anyone that comes to town or we've got a few gloves, a few hats, a few tees, but very minimal. But it's kind of like you don't really want to stock the pro shop until you get a bunch of people coming in either, because it's just money sitting there without being used. But I agree. There's ways we could, I think, realign some things that would work a lot better.
I would like to, I personally think, not being a golfer, but I really think that was a major point in Mr. Wan's report, was he thought that it was essential that somebody be in that pro shop, because there's people that are playing through without paying.
Yeah, and I'm sure that is happening. I do think that most of our members are pretty honest, but I'm sure there's few that aren't. So
Understood.
but-
And non-members.
and non-members too.
Yeah.
But they do have to, if they need a cart, they have to come in and get the keys for the cart and
Okay.
things like that. But
So
but
they're
again,
the healthy ones that are paying without.
yeah, that are walking.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, point taken.
So, do we get the financials? The city
Yes.
council?
Well,
I've never seen one.
I could pass them on to you.
Would you please?
Yeah.
That way we can kind of see what's what.
Yeah, currently, I think Lori Navarrete, our bookkeeper, has been sending them to Audra.
And Aaron gets them every month. So
Yeah,
your
Aaron gets them as
liaison
well.
Gets them every month.
Yes.
Okay,
We
she
have not
doesn't-
missed a month.
She
Yeah, she's-
doesn't share them with us.
Yeah, she's been
I'll-
getting them every.
I'll forward
every
them
month.
on.
Okay, please.
Yep.
Okay, anything
Mayor?
else? Frank?
Just another question.
Yeah.
I think a really big issue there too is being Guido's leaving and that, is your equipment and that, how is that standing up, and do you have someone that's gonna be able to maintain it, and take care of it?
Right.
Because I know Guido did a lot of the work to keep it up and that.
Yeah.
Sean, I know Sean's a pretty good kid, but I don't think he has
Yeah, I know he has worked on the equipment as well. I know his distaste for that as well, because he's let us know that. We did, however, just purchase a new fairway mower, I think, and along with maybe another piece of equipment. I'm not 100% sure what it is yet, because I've not had a chance to talk with Sean. But I do know that was ascertained, and then I know that our greens mower is also in really rough shape, and they're having to baby it to get things done. So we know that we've got some more equipment that's going to happen in order to maintain the course. So.
I know you did some work a few years ago on your sprinkling system. Is it pretty much up to date working, or?
As far as I know, yeah, I think there's only a couple of places where they've had some issues, but I know that they've been working on those. So as far as I know, everything's running correctly. So.
So when does the contract, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's the end of
I
this
think
year.
it's a year contract and it ends December 31st.
Are we gonna request RFPs again?
We can? Yeah,
I think we should,
okay.
but we can't decide that today.
Right.
Okay. All righty,
Mayor, if I may.
go ahead.
Do you know how many rounds have been played? Is it up, is it down, non-member, member?
I do know I have that information, but I'm not 100% sure. I believe it's down for non-member, if I remember correctly. But it's
Okay.
also, my comparison was December of '23 to just August of '24 is the information I had. So we still have August or September, the rest of the year, which I know it's going to be a little bit less, obviously, going into the winter months. But I do think it was down just a little bit compared to last year.
Okay. Well, and I hate to say this out loud because I use it, but the 9-hole punch card, is that causing members to say, well, I'm not getting out here as much, but I'll go the 9-hole punch card route? And
I think there's that, and I think the people that didn't want to pay the increase in membership, I know I've talked to a few that have said, well, I'm going to wait until I'm 2 years lapsed and then I'll come back and buy the new membership at the lower price. Which one of the ideas we also spoke about was, and it was brought up at our annual meeting, was that we'd like to give all the members the financials, because obviously it's the course, it's information proprietary, or not proprietary information, and we need to be transparent, and maybe if they understood the situation that we're in, that they would understand that, if we can't get income, we're not gonna have a golf course.
Right.
And so we're really trying to be a lot more transparent and understanding of, listening to what the members want to come out and golf and, see what we can do better. So.
You mentioned some kind of social media increase. I thought the Golf Association and the golf course have their own website.
We do have our own website. It's not a bad website. It has room for improvement, I believe. But I think there could be some social media presence. You can, just for pennies on the dollar, you can sponsor Facebook ads and, get it out there to people that are traveling through and, all that. So I do think that that's something that we need to look into. Like I said, your visit Trinidad, I've been seeing it a lot, and I'm not on Facebook a lot, but when I am on there, it's usually popping up for me. But because I've liked it, I follow it, and so the more people we can get liked and follow. One of the other things too is just on the internet itself, the golf course, there's like Yelp reviews, and I was honestly quite surprised. It was actually, we had a pretty good rating out there. It's a great course, and once you come and play there, even though it's a 9-hole course, it's still, it resonates with people because of the views, and it's beautiful. So. We have positive things going on there. We have our challenges, yes, but there are a lot of positive things that are going on. So.
Anybody else? Final questions? Okay, Lana, thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, are you done?
yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2 is marijuana sales tax allocation policy amendment.
Thank you, Mayor. In your packet, we have a proposed resolution. We spoke of this before. We've kind of adjusted after discussion to, rather than do the 65, 35, or that breakdown of percentages and rainy day funds and nonprofit allocation, we're proposing that we do 100% of the 5% marijuana sales tax received will directly benefit the city of Trinidad's ongoing operations, less $20,000 per year beginning in 2025 that will be dedicated for economic development and not affordable housing incentives. The sales are way down. In speaking with the Community Foundation, they they're not getting enough money to make it worthwhile for any of the nonprofits. And it's costing them a lot of staff time because they get all the requests and they have to, read through them, and then, they ask for a couple thousand and they're only able to give them $250 or $500, and it's just not, it's taken up too much of their staff time. And so this is the proposal. You will see in a minute when we go through the budget why we probably should funnel that money to operations. I'm open for suggestions or.
Manny, we'll start with you.
I understand the need for it, that we have to do that because we need that revenue stream coming in. I still really would have liked to have seen a little bit go into that rainy day fund, just in case, because that still is at full access to us no matter what the situation is. But kind of just like a little pocket money just in case. But if there's no way that we can do it, then there's no way that we can do it as of right now. But the shining light on this is if marijuana does go up, by any chance if it does, we can always revisit.
Right.
Frank, do you have any questions?
No, I just kind of agree with you, Mike, what we need to do. I think we should have done this a little while back too, but I think it's the best way to go.
Pretty much the same thing, Mayor Grego, and what Manny kind of, his sentiments more in the rainy day fund, and you hate to use that old verbiage of robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak, but yeah, Mike, I agree with, really, your hands are kind of tied.
So what is this?
So this is, go ahead,
Oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
So we're gonna have a remainder, or we had some funds remaining from the second quarter of the marijuana allocation that we talked about a few work sessions ago. We're asking if we could put $900 in the pot for the Christmas home decorating prizes. That's the homes decorate and then the trolley takes tourists. Okay, so you know about that. That's $900 prize money. And then that leaves us with the remaining $383 plus $17.52, which was going to go to TCF. So we have that, and I'm not sure. I think we wanted a little bit more for Christmas decorations, or we don't.
A minimal amount would be nice, just to.
Yeah, at least keep it up to
Yeah, just
what we've been
to make
doing
sure we
because
have some good lighting and.
right, it does make a big difference.
So
It's really not that much to
Yeah.
bring, but it does help.
Aaron, you were gone. Do you have any questions? This is on item number 2, on the marijuana sales tax, changing the policy.
Give me 1 second, Mayor, if you want to.
Okay, well, I'm with Audra on this too. I know we have to draw the line, and Mr. Trujillo, it's raining outside now, so the rainy day fund.
That's what I said, I like having it.
Thank God, 3 or 4 years ago, council decided to do that because
That's a smart move.
truthfully, there was a lot of money going to nonprofits. There was a lot of money going to events that weren't sponsored by the city of Trinidad. Thankfully, that council made the wise decision to change the percentages as we see them now. But the way I look at it, things are changed, and if we don't change to meet those changes, we're foolish. But on the same thing, what I'm thinking is we can't be crazy and not do some of the things that are especially quality of life issues, safety issues. That's another thing I want to kind of hang on there with. So, I think some of these we need to continue on with. So the city projects that you're listed there, Cheryl,
yes.
are those covered under the marijuana money we have now?
So this is the second quarter allocation that
Okay.
we had presented a while back. The new resolution will be moving forward for third and fourth quarter.
Okay. Because I really truly believe probably our taxes, marijuana taxes, are gonna continue going downward. I think it's a domino effect. But anyway, that's my opinion. Mr. Williamson?
Yeah, I think it's a wise move to make
I do too.
the adjustment.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll have it on.
Oh, there it is, okay, that's what I wanted to ask, I apologize, sir.
What's that?
We'll have
I
it
do.
on the agenda.
The number was on the side, I didn't know if that was the number you wanted to give towards the decorations or where that was going, okay.
Okay, so we will present this resolution to you at the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else on the change of marijuana tax? Okay, item number 3, capital improvement projects.
So Cheryl pulls this up. Well, we took all the capital improvement projects and we took council's priorities, and as soon as she shows it, we moved them to the top, and you'll see the projects, the estimated costs, and yeah, and how much we have, and how, I don't know if you have on here, Cheryl, how much you anticipate or project for revenue funds in
So-
Maryland.
We project 5.3 to be carried forward from fiscal year 2024. So that's what council has to work with for allocations for 2025. And what we've done is we've already included the priority number ones that we really can't walk away from. They're committed, they're grant related, they're ADA related, so they're just required. So that total is 1.7 million, which leaves 3.5 available for allocation. And then Audra put together council's priorities, and now it's up to council to see if we could lock these down. These will be added to the 2025 budget. The problem is that asks are more than available, so we need to shave off 170,000. Also, in the 4-year CIP plans, I think it's at the bottom. Do we still have that, Audra?
Yeah, it's in there. It's, go alpha order. Just look at it, alpha order.
Monument Lake is from the 2024, from the 4-year CIP plan. We usually put 250,000 toward Monument Lake, and that's the only item out of the CIP, the items identified in the CIP 4-year plan that didn't make the cut. So just wanted to let council know that.
Okay. Is that by contract? Did we sign a
No,
contract with?
no, it's something, by charter, you're supposed to project out 4 years of CIP projects,
Okay.
and there's paving, there's Monument Lake, I can't name them off the top of my head, but there's several of those line items that council identified. It's not by contract, it's just, we would have to, in our 4-year plan, if you change anything, we'd have to project that out and change that. Like if you said, okay, 250, he's got everything kind of up to stuff. I mean, there's still ongoing stuff, and he will definitely keep utilizing it, but I don't know.
So does the city make it? We don't make any money on Monument Lake, do we? We don't
He
get
pays a little bit of a lease, but
Okay.
I don't know. Not really, it's just operational and a tourist.
It was about $10,000 last year.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's
When does this have to be completed?
the budget.
The CIP budget? Yeah.
Well, it's part of the overall budget, so
Okay.
we
Under-
can tweak it if you want. Cheryl, if you wouldn't mind, can you just read the bullets, the project names that we the council prioritized?
So number one is pickleball court for 500,000,
Okay,
and then pickleball Los Niños Park sidewalk and walking path for 252,000. LEA improvements 400,000. Citywide paving 1 million. Garfield widening phase 900,000, and the river visioning final design 700,000.
and if you would, go back up to the pickleball
Sorry.
path. Read the bold there.
Oh, this may be reduced by 1/2 should council decide to only provide a path on the south side of the field to the bathrooms and courts.
That's for ADA access to the bathroom from the pickleball. So this estimated amount is for an entire path around the field. Just kind of like Central Park, only a walking path around Los Niños. So we could reduce that a bit by just getting a path from pickleball location to the restrooms.
It'd be a concrete surface, Mike?
That's what this is, yes.
But that's on the sidewalk, not the actual, is that just the sidewalk you're talking about?
That's, yeah, the actual court is 500,000.
I think it's a priority, Mike, to go the whole thing, or I think it would be a better, I mean, we're having short money, I mean, it'd be nice, but we're having short, if we could cut that down just to qualify for the ADA, and at least that's a start, and then add to it later on, because we plan on doing some more work down at that park.
Right.
But do we actually know how much the pickleball court is?
No.
It may come under as well. We
Or it may double.
Oh, it's been 2 years, so yeah, it's gonna keep going up.
We just go under.
Okay, it went up from 360 to 500,000.
Right, and we're working on that. It's close to getting something out and getting a real number in front of council.
Because this way we can get a harder number to figure out to make that, because I would, yeah, the path all the way around, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But we could always add it in later, it doesn't have to be in one shot, right?
The path?
Like 2 years from now,
Yeah.
we could add another piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would we be in violation of ADA if we took that out?
I think we're gonna make improvements, so at least the path from the courts to the restroom facility is needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it, yes, sir.
Well, you have to shave off, how much, $400,000?
If we add Monument Lake,
If you add Monument Lake.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're short 44,000?
It would be 300,000 if we add Monument Lake. Short, we'd be 300,000 short.
Okay. And that's, we have it in there, the 250.
I
She
just
just
plugged it in
tweaked it
first, just to figure it out.
Okay.
Right. Right now, we're short 44,000, not including Monument Lake.
Do we get GOCO grants money, or it's not enough to supplement the Monument Lake?
I think it has to be a specific project, right? Wouldn't it have to be?
To use
GOCO,
GOCO lottery
yeah.
funds, you mean?
Yeah,
Or
Just GOCO grant.
GOCO grants? We can, what? We can apply for a grant for up there, we just have to kind of have a specific project that we want to shoot for.
What he's using it for now is replacing the roofs on all the cabins and the lodge, and it's pretty much maintenance on our assets that we haven't done in quite a while. That's actually our side of it. Buckhorn did ask for, I believe, 100,000 to continue doing the work that he's doing. So ours is more asset maintenance.
Right.
Okay.
So if, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right, Mike. I had a question, and I think it's pertaining to this in some regard. What's the maximum lease that could be extended to a company operating that facility?
The
maximum
current lease, I think, is 10 years.
Is that 10? thought it
I
was
believe
5.
so.
I think options to renew are in there.
Yes.
Like a period of time with options to renew, but a long-term lease can be undesirable simply because you can't negotiate as often,
Right.
right? I mean, but I don't know that there's a maximum, top end for a time period for a lease.
In sort of observing that and having some secondhand, people speak secondhand, which obviously isn't the best way to gather information. But I know, there has been a lot of effort and energy put into that facility by the operator, and I think they view it as an investment. And my thought is, I wonder if they started with a 10-year cycle, if that's what it is, and they've been into it, was it 4 years now?
4 years.
So they're saying, well, we have 6 years to pay that back, potentially. I wonder if we were to make them the offer of renewing it as a new start date, if they might have better confidence in, investing more of their money again, because we in effect lengthen their window to recoup their investment, and it might make it more palatable for them to carry more of the burden to keep it at the, if you see what I'm saying.
The jaded part of me wants to say, that's great while things are going well, but if they go awry, I'm not saying they would, but then you're kind of locked in.
Right.
And so, I understand, I don't mean to,
Yeah, it's putting a lot of faith in the person's character that's running it.
Right.
So in the 4 years we put, if we do 250,000 a year, from 4 years, we put $1 million up there.
That's correct.
And gotten what?
Pardon?
Yeah,
Gotten
10.
gotten our asset fixed up in the parks and everything operational.
It's a way better facility nowadays.
Right.
Right.
But it's not generating any income.
Right.
Right. And part of me also wants to say, are we maximizing what we could be getting out of that, right? This is why people hate me, but it's maybe we
That's
should
not
ask
why.
for more. Yeah. But it's maybe we should actually be asking for more. And I know we're at a comfortable place, that's great. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But the numbers are not favorable.
No.
Right, I'm not a math whiz, but anyway, I'm being
Well, we're
quiet
not-
now.
We're not making any money to even do the maintenance on it, because we just keep
Right.
putting in money.
Right,
So there needs to be a break somewhere where we can at least break even and put money back into the maintenance without us taking it out of our budget.
right.
That's real important, because the way things are, it doesn't matter how good, they're making money and we're not.
And it seems like he's doing very well.
He is.
Waiting lists, and
Yeah.
I said I would be quiet.
What was the lease? What was the lease amount? How much? Maybe I missed that. How much do they pay us for that?
10,000.
Last year was 10,000, but it's based on,
Yeah.
gate sales and other things up there. I can't, that lease was, I should remember, I was here. I tell you what I'll do for council is we'll pull the lease, review it and see, and we'll have a better discussion on this. I would say that staff will take a look at this and tweak and see where we could save or where we can adjust and make sure that we're able to balance it. But this is just to show you that after council prioritized, we put all those projects at top. Now, there's other projects that are ongoing that have grant funding, and they're happening. These are just the ones that are out there, so.
Okay. Like the Garfield project.
Yeah. That's an
900,000?
estimate, totally an estimate.
Okay. Because that could be tweaked a tad as well, right? Or is it going to be, do you make these estimates based on that the project will be completed in year 2025, or is it an ongoing, or?
We make the estimates based on the project, so if it is ongoing, we could maybe split it, but that estimate is, taking historic numbers that we know for work to be bid or whatever, for asphalt, for lights, for anything, and we kind of do our best guess and then throw some contingency at them so that, inflation or whatever that happens, prices go up, they never go down.
Yeah.
So
How
hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
How often do we, to visit this? Like, do we visit them just when requested, or do we visit them on a set time, or just once a year?
We usually do this just once a year, and the strategic plan laid it out a little more detailed to get to this point, to where we're really having a better discussion rather than staff just saying, here's the projects, and council saying, okay, you're actually prioritizing and helping us move forward there.
Yeah, because I'm just kind of figuring, if it keeps going, like if they keep going up and they're sitting on there for, let's say, 3 to 4 years, it may not be a feasible project anymore. But maybe we can get that off the books before it actually gets to that point. So I was just thinking was maybe biannually instead. Then we can kind of see what's disappearing, and then we can also kind of see what has been done. Because we know what's done when we see it, but a lot of the community doesn't see
I
that
think
on the
in
ground.
6 months, you guys could review it. No, I'm kidding. But I think that's a good idea, and see where projects are. I mean, a lot of these projects are based on staff availability, because we've got the whip out, and they can only do so much, so.
I think that's only fair to staff too, that if it can't be done, then take it off their plate
Right.
and visit it way later.
Yeah. And I'm sure staff would appreciate council support when, I'm going to say this out loud, where special interest groups come in and say, we want this and we want it now. That's where we've got it. It's like, we'll look at it, we'll kind of work through it, rather than, yeah.
Well, you know what they say about hindsight is 20/20. And when we saw this spreadsheet, not because of budgetary concerns, but just wanting to get a handle on what was out there as far as projects,
Right.
I think we're overburdening staff, and I think we need to get it a little simpler.
Right.
I think it would benefit staff, because how can they concentrate on anything if they're so spread out on these projects, I mean, I think we're asking a lot of them, and I think we need to keep it simple, stupid.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And this is why it was good that council prioritized. Now staff says, okay, when these other ones come in, it's like, hey, council priority, and we could work through that.
Speaking of special interest groups, skateboard park, not on there, is that a repair? It was included in this year.
Yes,
Lottery.
lottery.
I rebudgeted it in lottery.
Okay, good. We just want to make sure it doesn't fall off.
No,
Okay.
Cheryl, do you want to go all the way to the bottom of the spreadsheet? And you
Do you
can,
have a question?
council can see what's going to happen at the end of, or hopefully by the end of this year, and where it's funded, all the way at the bottom. Right there. Because Church
Okay.
Street came up last time too, and Church Street is up in there at the top, and or there's one
Okay.
up maybe.
Okay.
This part? Oh, just a little bit more now. Right in there. We got Church
Yep,
Street and
Church
the skate
Street.
park.
Yeah,
and those are
nice.
grants,
Okay.
and those are the utilities, and the project is supposed to be construction season of
Okay.
next spring, or this coming spring. So that takes up a lot of staff time there.
And we have the $500,000 that we allocated from the land and all that into the First Street deal. Is that part of that?
Yes,
So that didn't come out of anything other than what we had as far as,
well, it comes out of the EU directed funds for land acquisition way back. That's where it would come from.
but we had money in there, right?
Yes.
And can we see the list for the, we'll complete in 2024, down? Sure.
So those represent a lot of the maintenance items that really are necessary, again, to protect our assets. So any of the roof repairs, the sidewalk by the community center, those sorts of things to protect assets.
So those are on track to be completed?
So that was gonna be my next question. Is there a timeline on the insurance? Like how long can you hold a claim for? So
I think-
they're on there.
I think on, this question is claims. You've got the money from the
And we
insurance.
have gotten the money,
It's
it's the only
just the
difference.
difference.
Mhm, the difference only, and we have 2 years,
Oh, okay, that's what I wanted.
so we're okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Eli, do you have any questions? You're quiet now.
No, it was answered.
Okay. So are we have like a consensus that we want to take out Monument Lake for the time being? Or are we gonna wait? How much time do we have, Shep?
Let's,
We have till the first reading, which I think will be the second meeting in November.
so,
And we
Well-
can't make a decision here.
well, yeah, we can. Consensus is what we were needing, but
Yeah,
we,
I was joking.
staff will take this discussion and we'll see what we can do
Okay.
at tweaking and, well, I think I've got a direction, I think.
okay. Thank you.
Glad he does.
Out of here.
And I would recommend that we look at
The lease?
the lease for definite, sure. And also on the sidewalk down at Las Ninos is just do what we can
Yeah.
get by, because we had plans on doing that anyway, and we can always add to that.
Right.
And that'll help with the budgets that we got there for
Mhm.
priority.
Okay.
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 Any-
Now we're gonna get serious.
Now we're getting serious. Okay, item number 4 is the 2025 budget. Stop.
Cheryl, do you have that historic sales tax revenue sheet that you did? Just to, I'd like to start there, just so everybody can see. So Cheryl's compiled sales tax from 2015 through current. General fund and capital fund and the totals. And you could see year over year the percentages that were taken in or not. And then, as you go down, there's the marijuana sales from 2015 through current. And if you look, we started at 8 million. I can't read that.
Yeah.
21, 44, 51, all the way up to COVID year that was 72 million in sales in the COVID year. Wow. Thought it was gonna go down, but no. Hey, there's Aaron. Let her see this. Yeah. So we were just talking marijuana retail sales, and Cheryl has a history from 2015 through present on that. 2020, COVID, 72 million, 2021, 66 million, then it dropped down to 39 to 20, can't read, all the way down to 17. But if you look at that, marijuana sales on the side over here, she has 4% of general fund. So every marijuana sales tax also has a general fund sales tax to the side of it. So you can see that she's got the highlighted box in 2024 is a negative year over year. So you can see where it started going down in 21, 22. I mean, it just goes down and down and down. And that, even though, you know, the marijuana sales tax was good and everything, it also affected our general fund because those sales have general fund sales tax to it. So, I mean, this is kind of an eye-opener on what hit our revenue side for retail sales.
Wow.
So,
And I mean, I think it's pretty obvious from that, but I just wanted to make it for 100% certain. The 2024 projected, that is what we're anticipating the whole year. I mean, that's our level
Yes.
best guess.
Yes.
Are we on track?
We're on track to come in under, but I mean, this is my best projection at this point.
Okay.
how much,
I used August figures and projected the rest of the year.
right, and we budgeted how much?
$1 million.
No,
What do you mean?
retail sales, you're at 7.12.
Oh, 7.
I think you budgeted 7.8, is that, am I dreaming that number?
Okay, so
We'll go there.
2023, yes, I budgeted 7.8. Wait, now you have me confused. Oh, no. Got it. Yes, 2024, I budgeted 7.8. So typically I'm conservative, except for this year when it came back to bite us. But I was pushing last year's budget just to try to balance it, and it got me. So 7.8, and I take it back. After we received August sales, I bumped this to 7.2. So we're actually at 96% of prior year. So anyway, but yeah, 7.2 is what you'll see in the next budget paper spreadsheet. So $600,000
Shortfall.
under collected in sales tax.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
good.
Okay.
Can we look at the lodging tax over here? Or is that just,
Yeah, lodging tax is coming in a little bit lower too. And we budgeted 500,000, so.
Well, that's right.
Property tax,
Property
right?
taxes, yeah.
people love that.
Property tax, we collected more in 2024 because of that SB Proposition HH. We
Okay.
received the funding in 2024, it's a one-time occurrence. Speaking to the county assessor, she said that we'll need to adjust our 2026 budget when it catches up for the Proposition HH and adjust it. By adjusting, I mean bring it lower. But yeah.
And what effect will it have on 2025?
2025, our preliminary estimate, we're actually up, we're anticipating a little bit more than what we received, less than 300,000, so I think it's 1.2 but we'll see it when we flash over.
Okay. Alrighty.
So, okay, back to our preliminary mill levy numbers. I'm budgeting 1.1 versus 1 million last year, so it's a little bit higher.
So looks like you're still conservative on revenue, correct?
Well, yes, for sure I am in taxes. 7.8, I think we're bringing in 7.2, and then I dropped it by 4%.
Okay.
That's where we're trending at this point. Property tax is a little higher because of the mill levy.
Okay.
Marijuana sales tax, I don't know, I think we'll reach 1 million, but I just, again, I feel like I'm pushing it to try to balance, and when we get closer to first reading, actually when we get closer to adoption, I'll put in a different number there, but if I decrease it, it just makes it worse.
Sure.
Franchise fees have also come down.
What's included in that, Cheryl?
It's, I believe it's the cable companies.
Okay.
And we were talking about this the other day, a lot of people are switching to the streaming services, so they're canceling cable. We've seen a significant decrease in 2023, and then I'm budgeting a continued decrease in the next 2 years.
Okay.
I would say before we get too far off the mill levy, we haven't changed the mill levy in, I don't know, 25, 30 years. We kind of did some research. When I say we, Audra, did some research on CML's Tabor laws and everything. I would definitely probably consider going to the vote of the people for mill levy increase, but I don't know, everything, when you say increase and people are hurting. But anyway, for your consideration. Just
What is our mill levy compared to other communities?
17.15 compared to other communities. I am not sure of that.
Okay.
As a side note, Cougar Canyon, when they were up and running, their mill levy was like 51. We're at 17.
Okay.
Okay. We increased marijuana licenses. If you recall, council agreed to collect marijuana licenses at $500 versus $1,000. We're taking it back up to $1,000, so we anticipate $43,000 in marijuana licenses. Let's see. Oh, we have grant funding coming in. That includes the local planning capacity grant, brownfields grant. What's the other one? Can't remember. But we have some grants. You'll see the corresponding expenses on the other side. Let's see. Landfill, we're proposing a 3% rate increase at the landfill. That's approximately about almost $20,000 increase in revenue. I put a placeholder in for updated fee schedule that we presented to council a few meetings or work sessions back. It was just to increase several different fees that the city has. So we think if we go forward with those fee increases, we'll add possibly $35,000. And then interim chief Tahanovich had the LADAR presented. We think that could possibly bring in $80,000.
When you're talking about those fees, are you talking about use of our recreational facilities? And is that based on that $5,000?
It's just a placeholder, but it would be based on that, and then I believe fire department had some increases, and
Okay.
several departments were suggesting increases.
There was a pretty long fee schedule that I inherited that staff and previous city manager worked on. We brought forward fire department and fields. There's other, fees for community center, for just licensing for, there's about 8 pages of fees to look at. And so I think 35,000 is probably a good number.
Yes. Cheryl, why is it that we don't do any forfeitures? Why are we not doing forfeitures? Do you have any idea?
That
We're
might
waiting
be-
for court cases to be cleared. We have to wait for the court cases to be done and then they decide where the money goes.
Okay.
That 33,000 in 2023 was turned over to us by the courts off of a drug operation.
Animal shelter. So because we don't have any reporting history, we are unable to apply for grants. I believe once we have a year of expenditures underneath our belt, we'll have some history and that may make us eligible for grants. However, because we are a municipality, we don't qualify for a lot of grants. So at this time, we're just gonna say 10,000 because I don't know.
I have a question real quick, but
Yes.
it's for Mike actually.
What happens to, do we impound anything? Do we do impounds?
Yeah, I do have a couple of vehicles, but they're pending court cases still that the DA has to release it and the judge has to basically approve it.
I
So
can't.
we do have a few vehicles that we're holding on to that were involved in some cases that we would turn it to auction.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Don't say yuck.
So overall, 2024, our revenue is probably coming in $200,000 less than anticipated. I believe 120,000 is because of our severance tax, which we received 605,000 in 2023, and I have to, well, no, it's only 75,000. But anyway, so we've dropped that a little considerably. And then, of course, the marijuana and sales tax revenue is under collected. So we're also coming in short for 2024. And then from 2024 to 2025, we're projecting a shortfall of 514,000 in revenue alone. Did you want to talk about expenses or?
Yep.
I guess council should interject if you have any questions going through here.
I mean, I think we're gonna look at expenses next Tuesday, probably
Okay.
maybe after that. I'll have questions probably. I mean, if you have questions now.
Go ahead.
Did you, what do you want to do?
Let's go to, oh, you're driving, I'm the navigator. Let's go to expenses. And I know that I've been giving some dire numbers. So staff is able to look at quite a few things that we've just trying to find how we can shave money, and there's several things that we did. The Public Works Department, they had one position that we froze for now. The fleet maintenance, they need 2 mechanics. We're asking them if they can get by with 1. Just going over this. Salary and wages are not in here except for the police department. They last year agreed to step wages. That is, the steps are in here, no cost of living whatsoever on any departments. These are just wages straight across until I sit down with the 3 unions next week and we discuss, and then I'll be bringing their request back to council. But we were over $1 million, and after going through a lot of things, we're trying to, you know, I hate to do this, but I don't know what else to do. We're consolidating staff. We're putting more work on more staff members and not filling positions, and it's not good practice, but I don't know what else we can do here to, you know, it'd be optimal to have all the positions filled and just keep going, but
I think
we've whittled it down to 580-ish.
it's pretty universal amongst almost any business right now, what you're doing, unfortunately. I mean, you know, when faced with the constraints, you have limited options, and easily, I mean, almost every organization, the major expenditure is wages. So.
Right.
That's not so bad.
Yeah. So we've kind of got it down. Cheryl, staff, everybody looking at everything they can do. We're down to, instead of $1 million, we're at 580. Not bad.
So are we looking to backfill this at all? Like, are we,
Well,
are we
that's-
just gonna let it
That's
sit?
what we're here for.
Yeah,
Okay, but
we're
that's
going to
still-
have to balance the budget.
Yeah.
We're going to have to present a balanced budget. How we do that? Reserves, rainy day, council's going to have to decide. Again, that's, you know, we were talking quite a few employees. If council wasn't going to use reserves, 580, that could be upwards of 9-10 employees that we have to shave to make this work.
So I want to make sure I understand. I mean, all the efforts that have already been taken has basically halved the deficiency. Yeah.
Pretty much. And Cheryl, I don't know if you can speak to how we shaved all these.
So when we originally presented the budget to council, we hadn't accounted for health insurance increases and just updated with all staff's current salaries. So that changed a little bit, but then we also added the Public Works Director, the Parks and Rec
Yep.
Director and the Public Works Superintendent. And that's what took us over the threshold. It was $1 million. And almost cried. So we backed those out. We took out the 2 positions for we froze a
Public Works.
Public Works
maintenance.
position and a fleet maintenance. And then some calculations and the gas pilot to the general were incorrect, and I changed that amount. So that brought about 100,000 back into the budget. And then just we went through and we're like, okay, well, also we backfilled with marijuana. We figured out that we weren't going to give that money to TCF, and we worked that little bit of money. I don't know, we've done so many changes, it's hard to remember.
We saved a position on the 2nd floor, right, with municipal court. And
That's good job, thank you. So muni court has a position open, and then planning has a position open, and we're gonna blend that position. We've budgeted to blend it if that's what we decide to do.
Okay.
So yeah, we've combined the position. Thank you, Donna.
You didn't freeze or decrease any positions in the police department or the fire department? So they can be
So
staffed?
Police Department has 2 frozen now.
from last year.
And then they recently, one officer is moving on, and we've asked interim chief to kind of hold off before we move forward on that. And so he will be short an officer, but we're also looking at their admin staff to try and, we're looking at all options.
Understood.
To try and,
And the reason I ask that is because when we look at the monthly bills and payroll, it seems like the PD is the one that has the overtime. So if we slight PD, and I can't remember, fire chief.
Fire has a lot of overtime, but we're working on that. You should see a reduction next year,
Okay,
now that I'm fully staffed.
okay. So that's why I'm really hesitant to,
right, you cut somebody and the services still have to be provided.
Right.
And so there's backfill with overtime.
yeah.
And so, yeah, it's,
And a lot of that overtime is only on fires, so you will get some reimbursement, I think we figured 80,000 back in our overtime
okay.
budget
We're talking
from
about
that.
wildfire.
Yeah, once we get our checks, we'll credit that line item.
I just, at the rate things, those are two departments for sure. We don't want to cut off our nose to spite our face with,
and then each department head was tasked with reducing their departments by 10% to start with. And we've they did a good job, and we've kind of tried to come in close, whittle down things. There may be less travel. I hate to cut training from departments because, we want quality staff, and the only way you get it is by training them, but there's training and travel. We've kind of tweaked those as much as we could. Anyway,
Can we do those remotely?
there's a lot that they can, and they do,
Okay.
but, yeah.
Question, how much do we have in reserves? Like, do we have enough to cover this shortfall if we decided to move forward? Because or could we do a 50-50 split between rainy day and reserve?
So rainy day is reserves. And there's about 6 million per the audit, but we need to have our operating requirements of that we should have at least 3 months worth or 25% of our expenditures untouchable.
So
So
rainy
that's-
day and reserves are not the same. They're the
They're
same.
Rainy day is reserves.
Okay.
Rate.
I thought there was a
So we
separate
have
one
about
for
6 million in reserves, and that includes 2 million of rainy
the
day.
day. That makes sense. Okay.
Oh,
Because I was gonna say, if it's two different accounts, and it's only $1 million, 500,000 out of each one to put us back on track.
Like I said, we've been able to shave it down a bit to 585, and this is without any cost of living for our employees. We just had a health insurance increase, so they will be paying more out of pocket, and if we negotiate and say no raises, then they're taking home less. So we'll see, we'll get their requests next week and bring them forward. But
Cheryl, what's the allocation for economic development? I just have the old summary that you handed out last time, so what's the expense for that?
Within general fund or,
Yeah.
okay.
It was 187 on this draft.
It's 243.
And what will that go to? What will that go to?
243.
no, what is it for? What are
I'm
the,
sorry, this includes Marty Hackett, our new hire at Space to Create, our part-time assistant at Space to Create, which is supported by Chaffa Grant. I think that's it.
Just 2 people?
2.5.
Okay, 2.5 people, but no programs or anything like that?
No.
Okay, that's the problem.
right?
I mean, the only way out of this is economic development.
So you missed, we're going to put, it's minimal, but 20,000 So out of our allocations, we're gonna take 20,000 toward that.
I saw that.
Yeah. It's not much.
No, but it's,
Yeah.
Okay.
We did reduce some amounts in agency support. So we ended up, of course, taking on Noah's Ark. So that obviously it's expended elsewhere. But we moved fireworks to tourism, and then we reduced the chamber and senior citizens support. And
Reduced it to
Trinidad
what?
Community Foundation.
What did you reduce the seniors down to?
0. When they took it on, they told us they would only need 2024's allocation, and now they're asking for it again. And we didn't put it in until council makes that decision.
That's a community support thing too, so.
What we need to determine what the impact will be there, right?
My understanding is that the hours would be reduced to operating hours of the senior center, so it wouldn't be available to the community by taking that out. So it'll be limited hours, and that's all they'll be able to operate.
They told us we didn't need it, and they took it over, so that's why we didn't add it. But I mean, if we add it, that changes the bottom line.
And I think we said, well, community services or something we didn't want to skimp on. Because that does not look, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Not just community service, that's important.
Cheryl, did they request the same amount?
They haven't yet. They haven't made a formal request. They were going to see what the total amount is that they would need,
Okay.
instead of just asking for the same amount to carry over.
What expenses do we have that's connected with the senior center?
We pay their
We
utilities.
just allocate 35,000.
Okay, so their wages and everything is COG supported, correct?
Do we still pay their utilities though?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So
Is that what that 35 is?
No, that comes in under buildings and utilities.
So where's COG dues, because we pay that too.
we had it, we paid for
What are COG dues? I'm sorry, Audra, I'm not good with that one.
so much here.
How much are they?
No, why do we pay
No,
COG dues?
Sorry, what line was that? Oh, there it is, I'm sorry, I missed it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yours were going up, weren't they?
who's responsible for
There's been
building
some
maintenance
discussion
and
over
repairs at the senior
That's
center? And where's that budgeted?
We budget in facilities maintenance.
Is there any line item for the senior center, or it's just all facilities?
Oh, it's just all facilities. Yes, this is all city buildings,
Where is that?
right here.
What is it?
Okay, got it.
I guess we have to find out what we're going to do, what the seniors want and what they need it for, because if there's no employees but COG employees and we're paying the utilities.
I mean,
It might take more of a conversation with South Central, see what they
Yeah.
say.
yeah, so
Yeah.
South Central dues, I mean, that covers a whole gamut of services, any service that South Central COG provides to our community and community at large. Those dues go to support that. And more specifically, I think by paying the dues, it gives us a voting membership on the board. And I mean, being the representative at COG, I think a lot has happened recently that a lot of positive stuff is happening there. I mean, we have an increasing public transit. We have, and this is over the last 2 years. I mean, we have had, just remembering it, past $2 million of grant money flow into our area. specifically through COG, and that's been a benefit in,
To the senior center or?
no, to the.
General.
Yes, to COG's interest at large. I mean, there's a lot that goes on at COG, so I think that's money well spent. But to your point, COG and Manny gave me this information. I didn't know it. I guess we'd go from 7 to 5. We're at 7 to 5 currently, and without the contributions, we're going to go from 7 to 2. I mean, I don't.
7 o'clock in the morning?
Seniors,
What did we do at 7 o'clock in the morning?
coffee and stuff like that
It's
for the seniors. but-
honestly, like I really enjoy going to the senior center. I go once in a while
So-
for lunch, but
I would suggest, okay, we don't know what they're requesting. Obviously, Manny has more information than we need. So hopefully, COG director will get with Audra. That's what we're waiting on to see
Okay.
what impact. So if you, Cheryl, just for a placeholder, put 35,000, carry that to COG and show what that does to the bottom line. If we carried it forward, money that we,
it changes it by 35,000.
right. Imagine. I just want to see how a spreadsheet works.
That's amazing. Wow. I see how it works.
So then, that'd be the bottom line.
Phenomenal.
Sorry.
Eureka.
It's just big red numbers, so.
This is really new, big red numbers. It's not something you faced
Yeah.
before.
Well, that's where we are with general fund. I think we've hit the highlights, or the lowlights, whatever you want to say. So, next week, like I said, I will be meeting with the unions. I'll probably have an executive session with council to instruct the negotiators after I get their requests, and then decide on how we present a balanced budget.
Okay.
Did you want to note the attorney?
The what?
The attorney?
Yeah,
department?
he's right here.
Yeah.
Speaking of the attorney, his wages are.
Sorry.
So by employing a full-time attorney with part-time attorney, that increases the budget by 109,000.
Right. Thanks for that, Cheryl.
What was that?
And that's best guess of what, if you had a full-time attorney in-house.
And it's low.
It may be low. Not maybe, it is low.
It is low.
So,
When we have to provide fringe for a part-time,
Not,
No.
for full-time, we have to provide fringe,
but
yes.
if it goes part-time, then the fringe doesn't.
This is a part-time and a full-time, so 1.5 employee.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of attorney.
Well, the
Yeah.
other half
What-
is only from uni court, remember, just.
Right.
Okay. That's,
Yep.
yeah.
If we
So, I don't know if you want to go through utilities, Cheryl?
Yes. So utilities include we're starting off with Power and Light. Power and Light includes a 7.5% increase to commercial and a 4% increase to residential. It's accounting for this project, I think that was presented to you, for the 4160 and substation,
Good one, Cheryl.
did you do right?
Yes.
Substation project of 5 million, which I don't know if that was what was presented or if we've narrowed that number down, but it also includes a DOLA grant for a percentage of that project. So you see the revenue offsetting grant-wise versus the expense. We also reduced power purchases by 430,000, which is what ARPA said that we should recognize. But overall, there's still a shortfall of 1.3 million because of that $5 million project. So if that comes in lower, the grant, I don't know, we'll see.
Refresh my memory, what is that for?
This 4160 conversion, if you remember, oh, I don't know if
Yeah,
you
I
were
wasn't here.
CLP did an analysis of our entire system, and they identified shortfalls or places that it's like, you better look at this. One of them was converting 4160, the lower voltage lines, to 13A. We have 2 circuits that are 4160. 4 circuits that are 4160. 2 circuits that are 13A. So we got to convert those. And the substation needs, it would also be redundant, but it gives us a backup and will provide better reliability and all. So in that, ARPA is going for federal money. By the minimum they could go for is, or community go for, is like 20 million. Well, ARPA is going to go for it for the 6 member communities to get that 20 million, and then they will actually carry us on the our match, where we pay them back over the years, or 4 years, I think it is. So 5 years. So, and what needs to be pointed out here is this is, like Cheryl said, the revenues here are 7.5% commercial, 4% residential. That's an increase in our rates. We had a work session a while back with Waterwork that they showed how much, and it's not that much for individuals over the years, over the months, but as you add these up, because every utility has got a rate increase in it, we've projected. Along with that projection is the PILT money that goes to the general fund is based on percentage of revenues. So if you don't raise them here, then it's also going to hit the general fund revenues, because you won't pay that much into the general fund. That's payment in lieu of taxes that we pay the utilities through here.
Does this count all the money, all the increases that the waterworks person discussed?
Yes.
Okay, and do we need to vote on those things?
Yes, we'll have to bring forth, when you raise utility rates, you have to do 30-day notices to the public and to the customers, and so that will start here. So you'll start seeing those proposed rate increases come before you in ordinances.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be, like I said, all 4 utilities have a little bit of an adjustment in them. And if you remember, Waterworth, as they project it out, which is what we should do, it's every year they're 3% increase or certain increase for every year to keep above inflation and to bring our infrastructure into this century.
We did rate studies on some utilities, not too far.
I think you increased
I know it was
the
gas.
gas and
The gas supply charge was increased in
Right.
February.
Oh, okay.
There was a supply charge.
did we do a power and light increase?
Yes,
We did.
Yeah.
Last year.
And,
Water and sewer as well.
and that increase was requiring a 4% increase for power and light at the beginning of 2024, which we didn't do.
Okay.
But have we incorporated it now?
Now when we present the ordinance, we're probably gonna have a schedule this much for 2025, 26, 27.
Okay.
Alrighty. Any more questions? Because we can move on to water. Okay, water has some, well, we are projecting a 3% increase across the board in water. But it also has some grant funding coming through. There's DOLA, the Hickenlooper grant, and there's another grant for the geotechnical study at Monument Lake. And then we have loan proceeds of $3 million from the state revolving loan fund. And then those corresponding projects will be found in capital outlay, which includes $150,000 for a backhoe and a truck, and then $6.6 million for the geotechnical study, which is about $100,000, and $1.7 million for the water main project, and $4.3 million for the water tank rehab project, which are projects that we have to get going, get them off the ground before we have some repercussions. And then water treatment plant has some, just some water plant, or some upgrades budgeted for $113,000. And with all that, we're $932,000 over budget, but that'll be coming from reserves. And hopefully either one of these, the big projects will come in under budget. That's what I'm hoping for.
The water tank project is out to bid now. They've had the pre-bid meeting, so those bids should be coming in shortly, and we'll have a better idea. I don't think we've fully been approved for the state revolving fund loan request. That's in process. If we do not get that, then we're gonna have to pare down the project. And Mark has it split up, right?
Correct. All 4 tanks are split into those.
Right.
If we don't get the funds, we can eliminate whatever we don't have the funds for.
Right. But it'll show up again next year because those tanks need rehab. I mean, it's just like, yeah.
Any questions? I'll move on to the gas fund. The gas fund is projecting a 2.5% increase on the delivery charge. And then, like Steve said, in November, how much is the increase?
November 1st, the supply charge will raise from 33 cents to 43 cents per CCF.
And that particular increase has already been approved by council, so it's going into effect on November 1st. 2.5% increase on delivery charge in gas fund for both residential and commercial. And then we're dipping into reserves for the gas department about $238,000. And that has to do with which project? The North Side Tank? North
The reg station.
Yes, North
Bait
Side Reg.
station.
That bait station.
We've got to work with Kinder Morgan and Walsenburg to try to get some gas off of that pipeline for an industrial park for growth.
That's been ongoing for a while now. That was,
Yeah, it's keeps running into a lot of snake.
yeah.
A lot
But-
of issues with that.
And then we will be putting, or I will be putting, actually, Steve and I will be putting forth a resolution at the next meeting. If you recall, the reason we're increasing our supply charge is because we were under-collected for at least 2.5 years. And we are coming forth to council to request that 1.6 million of that under-collection be written off by council and paid for with gas department reserves, which, you know, hopefully we can collect the remainder of that 2.7 million under collection. But anyway, we'll be asking in a resolution for council to approve us to use gas supply, or gas fund reserves to write that off.
Yeah, I think you warned us about that when we were doing it, and we split up the cost that was gonna be coming.
No questions, then we'll move on to sewer. Sewer is projecting a 3% increase both on commercial and residential. The only project we have slated for sewer is a vac truck, which is about $800,000. I want to put $100,000 down payment and then do a tax exempt lease for the remainder and have some debt service for probably 5 to 6 years. But the fund will be able to sustain it. They'll actually be able to put into reserves about $300,000, and then there's several other projects slated for sewer.
So Jacobs has not given us the final number, because every year the contract has an escalator, formula. That's the word I'm looking for. Formula in the contract. It fluctuates every year, but when I was here previous, it was around 3%. Cheryl, what did you put in?
5.
So she put in 5%. Where I should have that here shortly on next year's contract, what that escalator will be. So hopefully it's 4. Since it's always been 3 and you put in 5, it's going to be 4. It's as Aaron said, it's a tough year for everyone, and inflation and everything is hitting, so they'll factor that in as well.
All right, lottery. The only different, I mean, it's a smaller fund. We collect around $100,000 every year. We did budget $100,000 for the skate park last year, for 2024, which didn't happen. So I've rebudgeted it, and I think a number, I'm not sure where I got the $123,000, but that may have been one of the estimates. Anyway, we are dipping into reserves and lottery to do this project, but that'll leave us about $50,000 in reserves. And the lottery does cover park maintenance, path and trails maintenance, and then the swimming pool maintenance.
Is the skate park work, is it beginning? Where is it in process?
So we, not to give history because you guys know it, I came in and it was bid out. We had a contractor, they got chased off by skate park people. We brought it back in, tried to get through that process. We kept getting people kind of interjecting. So we went out to our engineering, on-call engineering services. They came back and said for us to do this project is $43,000, just for the design. I said, let's step back, let's see what we can do. Engineering and Jared are putting together a packet to try and rebid it out and get a good number and use the money rather than giving the money to an engineer, and then that number will go up by 40,000, trying to get it fixed. Hopefully that we get bids, because some contractors don't even want to touch it now because of Facebook comments, because of social media, because they, it's just not a good situation. I'm hoping to get it off when I'm still here as interim, and I will try my best to keep that at a minimum and get the park fixed, whether it's to, it'll be to skateboard riding standards and not, and not let the public tell us how to do the work. I don't know other way to say that, and then that's what happened. And so it is in process. We should have a packet together. Of course, we're coming into winter, and you don't really want to do concrete in winter, so we want to get it out. So I'm working on it.
What was our original amount that we had, the bid that had been accepted, but then?
I think
It was-
$46,000.
Well, it came in lower than that, and then Jared was working with the contractor. There was such a disparity that he said, hey, are you sure, to the low bidder, are you sure you're looking at everything? They looked at it, and it was, like you say, $40-some thousand to complete it. And actually, notice of award, everything, we want you to do it, went out, and then that's when everything imploded from outside forces.
I recall.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay, tourism, if you recall in the strategic plan, council now requires the tourism board or the lodging tax advisory board to submit an annual plan that proposes the use of the revenues. They're currently working on that. I have a draft. I haven't plugged everything in because I don't think it's official. They have a meeting on Thursday. So we're waiting for them to get that back to me. But tourism will have a balanced budget. If they budget $400,000 in revenue, then they'll have $400,000 expenses. And we'll have that ready by the first reading. I hope to have that ready by first reading.
And if the lodging tax passes, how will that be done?
So then I'll double it. We'll just double the $800,000 and gosh, I don't know.
We'll have to
see.
revisit the board and see if they have other requests, or they are advisory to council. They may open it up to, well, I don't know. There was talk of funding positions from that, but well, you've seen the budget, so I don't know. But if, I don't want to get off track, but talking about this,
You're not.
hopefully it passes and we'll cross that path when we get there.
Almost done with economic development. We're just, we are rebudgeting the $1 million that has been budgeted prior. Actually, yeah, it is $1 million. So we still have that available for those projects, the housing projects that are going on now.
That's the housing now.
Correct. Yes.
So are we close to that 2-year period?
We are, and I think, Nick, all the projects that were allocated, there's several that may not make it,
I
or?
think there's two that are kind of don't have much steam, but the rest are moving forward. So if those two that don't have steam, we might put that money back out if there's no more projects, or we'll see.
But that's only like $50,000 though, isn't it?
One of them was significant. One of them was like 125.
Okay,
Yeah, and then the other one is like, I think might have been 50. So yeah, about 175,000, which is
okay.
a really
But
good chunk.
I think it was a successful program. We got some housing out of it. Well, they're working on it.
There's still a lot of housing to be,
Because they don't get that money until
It's done.
it's done.
Right.
So,
And then finally, capital, which we discussed earlier. So I haven't really put any figures in here, just placeholders based on the 4-year CIP plan. And once council narrows that down, I can get all that information loaded into it, and that's what we'll present for the first reading. That's all I have, but back to the bad news. It's just, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
So Cheryl, I don't know if you would know this, but it seems like it was a national trend, first and second quarter of 2024, that everything was down. I mean, so I know marijuana is a huge part of that, but do we know, are there any predictions that the economy's gonna change in 2025 or?
Yeah, you'd
Yeah, Bidenomics is working.
be a miracle worker if you knew that.
All right.
You wouldn't be working here, you'd be somewhere else.
Okay.
So, Cheryl, I got a question. Does this chart you have up, does that show any marijuana funds in there, or is that total sales tax
This
has?
is total, which includes
It includes marijuana, okay.
Yes. Yes, this figure right here includes marijuana funding.
But if you look at your general fund sales tax here for marijuana and subtract it out of your total, that kind of gives you an idea of what's there minus marijuana.
Okay.
She probably has it on there somehow.
Not sure if I do.
We can work on that.
Yeah.
Because I think, for the most part, our general, just our regular sales tax, it's kind of dropped some, but
Not a lot.
not a lot. It's the marijuana that really dropped a lot and hurt us.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but the two major things that we're taking the hit on this year is we had to take on the animal shelter and the dive on this marijuana sales and so we, you know.
There's that, and then last year, I think you budgeted for it, but you added 400,000 more on property casualty.
Yeah.
That kind of was like, wow.
The increase, the class and comp increase for PD is 202,000.
But,
Right.
yeah, it would be tough.
Okay.
I hate to say it.
Alrighty, anybody else have any questions? Alrighty.
I just have clarification questions, but I guess I can get with Mike
No.
and Cheryl. Or do you want-
Ask
Go
them
ahead.
now.
Okay, so they're mostly clarification and they're just curiosities that I have. So I was just kind of going through, and if you can clarify why we have so many accounts, multiples, so like on our expenses, like Comcast, there's so many of them. Like when you go through on the bills, they're all listed. Are they different accounts or are they all under one thing and then spread out?
They're based on funds, so Comcast, so Welcome Center might have one, Water Department might have one. We may have one at the county, or where's the other one? I don't even know. But they are, whenever the bills come in, they get charged off to the right department. So something will get charged to community center and something gets charged to the water department.
Because I was just wondering, because it's like when you add them all up, it's really expensive per month. That's why I was like, when was the last time we renegotiated the internet?
Actually, James just renegotiated because I noticed that we were off balance quite a bit, and so he renegotiated a new rate.
Can I add something to that? So this year, we switched up our telephone service. We got rid of the analog lines and went to digital. Up until last month, we were paying about $4,600 a month for telephone service, and we've gotten that down to about $850. I looked at switching our fax lines, which we have, 5 fax lines in the city. We're paying about $400 a month for fax lines. So I recently got a quote back from an e-fax company, and we got that down to about $70.
Oh, wow.
The other thing we're looking at, some software and subscriptions that we might be able to drop. But in terms of like the individual Comcast bills, so we have Comcast at Welcome Center, Station 1, Station 2, and Community Center.
Sorry.
And I've been working with our sales rep to get that all on one bill.
So that'll show a significant change coming next year. Well, let's say I start
Well,
coming in.
and there's a lot of that we really can't affect. So most of our sites have internet service provided through CCOM. And we have a trade in place because they have equipment up on Simpsons Rest. We actually don't pay for about $40,000 a year in internet services. That if we didn't have that agreement with CCOM, my subscriptions would be slightly higher.
I mean, they're all combined in it. Yep. Awesome.
And we did reflect that decrease in the telephone and subscriptions and software. Every year we have Blaine go through subscriptions and software to make sure we're not overpaying or double paying or paying for services we don't use. But anyway, there were 2 significant decreases in IT budget for that.
And that's cell phones too and everything, I think I heard you say?
The cell phones are paid for out of their own departments.
But
This
there's-
is internal telephone.
Oh, okay. Now cellular is kind of the same thing, it's kind of like all over.
Well, PD's not charged for cell phones, right?
Sorry?
PD isn't charged for cell phones?
Is
Are
the
they charged?
device itself or the service?
The service. I thought they were
It's under you guys.
So,
T-Mobile?
No, we were the FirstNet.
Oh,
we're
never
on
mind.
AT&T with.
Sorry,
with the
never
PD.
mind. Yeah. Anyway, but yes,
I don't think she.
I don't know actually. I'm lost.
Was it in ours? I don't remember seeing it.
Oh, it is. It's under. I thought that you were under FirstNet, which there is no charge.
No, it
Oh,
is.
we paid
There is?
There is a
Oh,
charge,
okay.
yeah.
My fault.
The devices are only 99 cents as
Okay.
opposed to paying $1,000 for.
Yeah, we pay for everything.
Okay. Yes. So James's IT department pays for cell phones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I just kind of wondering just the way that was spread out. And it's good to let the public know we're doing the best price policy that we can, you know.
Right.
One of the other things I wanted to ask was demolition. Where was that? I know we had it under marijuana funds,
Oh, yeah.
but is ADO? Where's that at?
It's still, we have 40,000 budgeted for next year out of marijuana.
Oh, just out of marijuana.
Mhm.
I was just curious, how come that just not, we don't have that in like a different department that has a little bit more leeway? Like
We didn't
economic-
have the funding to do that, so that's why we started using marijuana money.
Oh, okay. Because that's why I was like, if it was in economic development, it should make sense because we're gonna be selling the land. Because once we acquire it, we sell it.
If we acquire it, usually we demo something, we put a lien on the property. And then it sits there until somebody makes a move on that property, and then that's when we get our money back, so,
Maybe we can have a conversation on that, just for a little bit more clarity.
sure.
Because I just kind of want to figure out, like, if we lien it or it's condemned, the price is lower, then eminent domain's way cheaper. Because we have to give fair market value on condemnation.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just something on something that's just,
So eminent domain.
or I said that wrong probably. so
Yeah, we should have a conversation,
Yeah.
because
That's something
that'd probably
different.
be more expensive with attorney fees and everything and appraisals and, anyway.
It's not practical to do eminent domain because you do have to pay fair market value. And that's if you can even find the property owner.
Right.
Right.
And frequently we can't. But we don't have to give fair market value on most of the properties that we condemn. We lien, we get paid for our expenses. As Mike was saying, the property is sold, but we don't have to come up with the money for fair market value for the property if we were to eminent domain it.
Okay, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be nice to have a little clarification meeting on that so we can
Sure.
figure that out, if that's all right.
Happy to.
I didn't even see that on there. Were the boards and commissions able to retain any of their funding?
No. There's nothing.
Were there any boards and commissions that are required to have any kind of, to operate?
I don't believe so.
Not required, no.
Okay.
But does it mean that, I mean, really, what's the point? If they don't have any resources to use to do the work that they're gonna do, what's the point of having a board?
Well, they would be advisory to council, and council would make that decision on whether to release some funds to whatever they're working on. Boards and commissions should not be spending the money. I mean,
Well, for instance, the arts and culture, their job is to purchase public art for the benefit of the community and for tourism purposes. If they have no budget to do that, what's the point?
they would come to council and say, we have this piece of art that we want to, that's well, I don't know if you changed up the process at all with public art, but that would be where they'd come to council and ask to, of course, we don't have any money, we're 600,000 in the hole, so, and then the strategic plan also kind of had boards and commissions, and you were working on that,
Still working on it.
so.
Would it be fair to say that when we had marijuana money, we had money for boards and commissions to have kind of in advance, and now we don't have that luxury anymore? Is that okay? Good.
If arts and culture had if they had a piece that cost more than $5,000, we could pay for it out of capital, but now council just allocated all the capital, so never mind. That won't work.
That's what I'm just saying. I don't like asking people to volunteer for no good reason, and I think it's disrespectful. So if there isn't anything that we can have them do in 25, then maybe they need to go on hiatus or something, because I can't see that it would be worth their time.
That's a council conversation, though, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's all the questions I had. Thank you.
Yeah. I know. Let him have it. Just kidding.
Okay, anything else from council? No? Okay, then the work session.
Just one thing,
Yes, sir.
I want to thank staff for working hard on this budget, Cheryl, especially staying up late nights, getting this thing going, and all department heads for, pitching in where they can. I know it's tough to go back and tell your employees, thanks for working so hard, but
Mike Valentine for putting it all in a nice package
Yeah.
with a bow,
I'm into it.
these people.
I concur. Thank you. Thank you all. This is not going to be easy for any of us, for sure.
Right. Oh,
How's morale?
you're just shutting down yours.
Special session.
I know.
You're shutting down your computer.
I do
didn't
have
know.
I have a quick question, Mike, if I may.
Wait, is
Not as
this
good as I can
for the work session?
Yeah, if I can.
Okay.
It's just our
Mike, can you just
Yeah.
briefly it's all right. Can you briefly outline the roadmap to the finalized budget? I mean, they said it's the second week of,
More meetings.
yeah.
So, Cheryl, second meeting in November is the first reading of budget. So in between now and then, we'll get you another kind of a copy of budget, or put it on the drive or something for you to look at. And then we'll have to come through with a resolution or budget amendment to,
Sorry. When it's on the
Back-
drive,
what's that?
sorry, when it's on the drive, it'll be a PDF or a spreadsheet?
I can do spreadsheet.
That'd be nice, just because, if that's all right.
Can you do both? I don't know what to do with this.
That's all I do all day, is spreadsheets.
Oh, that's you.
No, that's what I'm saying, if you put it on both and
Don't be
everything's out.
changing, don't be in there changing.
Well, it'll be a local copy, I can't change Cheryl's. This new budget's jacked up.
Point of order, Mr. Williams. Let's take a 5-minute break and then
Yeah,
no, we don't need it.
we'll need the Mondo pad for the next session.
Where I'm breaking.
Are we gonna stay down here?
How